Zach Anderson, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. That was a great win tonight. Very aggressive game for you guys on offense and on defense there towards the end. But specifically, what impressed you about your offensive performance, and what did your team do to take control of this game?
I think we took a lot of confidence from the way we were able to play when we played in the away fixture, quite honestly. We tried to reinforce the messages and the playing style that we had when we played there. That was, I've kept saying it, but probably our best performance of the season was at their place. So we knew that if we could move it with that quality, and obviously the conditions were perfect today, the field was in great shape, the little bit of rain just sped things up, and that plays into the qualities that we have. And I'd say there was probably a 20-minute spell there in the first half where probably our best spell of football so far this season, and it culminated with the goal. So again, it's challenged them at halftime to continue to remain disciplined, that when it's working and when we're playing and implementing the system as effectively as that, to stay disciplined, to continue to do the right things and don't get almost drunk on our success or too greedy, when we can just remain really, really disciplined and continue to be effective in the way that we were playing. So I was pleased for the most part, but inevitably with a team like Western Michigan, they're a physical team. They're very, very dangerous on set pieces. They've got a lot of size. It's always going to be difficult. And the second part of the halftime team talk was to say the best way to finish this game or to close this game out is to score the second, score the third. And obviously we needed that. It wouldn't have been an easy 10 minutes had it stayed at 2-1. So the fact that we responded really well at 2-1 and got the third goal definitely helped everyone relax a bit, just not only on the pitch, but on the sideline too.
Sam Coniglio, you're next.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. So, watching on TV, obviously Western Michigan's a physical team, and then it's slippery. Guys are falling all over the place. Does that how does that affect your strategy heading into the game?
Yeah, we talked about making sure, we didn't rush to the ball and overcommit in those defensive 1v1 challenges. They've just got to be aware that on the slippier surface, on the wet surface, that they move their feet and their decelerations, they slow down at the right time, a little bit earlier than usual, perhaps, because it's going to be a little bit more difficult to come to a halt. But quite honestly, we felt like speed was an advantage that we had and have over Western Michigan. So we like to think that it was going to be their team that were going to have more issues with that and with the quick surface. And I think over the course of the 90 minutes, that was the case. But it definitely makes it a little bit more challenging. But at the same time, like I said, we've got good technical players that if we can move the ball quickly, it's very, very difficult for the opponent.
Zach Anderson, you're next.
Coach, Ike Schweitzer scored 2 goals in this game. It's third in the last 2 matches. What has he done to bring some spark to the team?
Stay positive when I didn't pick him again today. So he obviously came off the bench for the second game in a row for us. And I feel like he's bought in. I think if you were to say to Ike, you're not going to start, but you're going to play 50, 60 minutes and you're going to get chances and you're going to score goals, I'm sure he would take it. I hope he would. So again, his attitude's been really positive. I think he needed that on last Wednesday to kind of get that monkey off his back, so to speak. And again today, he's popped up with 2 really important goals at important periods in the game for us. And again, he's delighted, and we're elated for him. And he'll go into next week with confidence. And we'll pick the best team that's going to give us the best chance of beating Akron. And he knows, and I think everyone else does now, if that means they start or they're on the bench, that everyone has a role to play, and he certainly filled his and more today.
Sam Coniglio.
You mentioned obviously you had the speed advantage, and it was quite apparent when you guys were on the counterattack. I mean, it looked like you guys were just kind of throwing long balls over their defense and just getting into the box quite easily. Was that kind of the strategy, just kind of get in behind the defense and try to formulate a goal that way?
At times, we talked a lot about having versatility to our attacks. So when we had the ability to play between lines and connect passes, that we're effective at doing that. But obviously, knowing that we felt like our front three had the speed advantage, that it wasn't long balls in the sense that we were going to compete aerially and physically, but But if they gave us that space in behind, we have to challenge them, have to challenge them to a race and get 3 quick players, whether it was Luke, Tony, Powell even at times got in behind the wing backs, and then Ike certainly when he came on, make sure we challenge that space. And for me, soccer is a game of taking what the opponent gives you. And when they gave us that space in behind, it was important that we exploited it and threatened it. And if that means they drop off and then we can play good football in front of them, which we did for that really long period in the first half, then great. So I've been pleased with the versatility of our attacks, not just today, but kind of throughout the season. And the boys seem pretty bought into that as well. So I thought there was a good variety to our attacks again today. And obviously that proved effective when we were able to exploit space in behind.
Sam, did you have another question?
Yeah, I do. So, Coach, we've been seeing schedule changes all over the place in college sports, and this was one of them. But luckily, this team was one that you'd already played, and like you said, it was your best game of the season so far, despite the loss. Did that make the scouting report easier in the build-up?
Yes and no. I think they had played two times since that fixture, so we watched them both in NIU at home and away with their 2 games that they had played. And there was a lot to take from that because there were, I think, 4 goals in one and 5 in the other. So there was definitely aspects of the scout that were brand new, but we did, going into yesterday's training session, just remind them of what was effective for us in possession at their place, and try and remind them of those movements and the space that could be available in behind to threaten. And like I said, they executed pretty well when it came to the game today. So yeah, really, really pleased. And they're always going to be a team that cause you some challenges, and there's aspects of what they do that I definitely respect, and you have to be able to compete physically and to match that aspect of things. And like I said, we passed the test today from that standpoint, so incredibly pleasing.
Nick Farrell, you're up next.
Coach, was the biggest difference between this first meeting or the first meeting and this one today simply that you guys finished your chances?
Yeah, maybe. I'd actually argue they probably had more chances today than they did in the first fixture. But I think possibly just the size of our pitch, the speed of the surface today, just allowed us to get down the sides and turn the corner a little bit quicker than we could in the previous fixture or in the away fixture. So again, I think we're still growing as a team. That was still incredibly early in the season. We're now 7 games in, and as I said, we should still continue to be improving, getting fitter, have more players available than we did when we played them there, which knock on wood, that continues to remain the case. So I think we've improved. I think we've improved since the first time that we played them, and there were elements of our game today that showed that as well.
And our final question will come from Sam Coniglio.
Coach, 82nd minute, you take Ike out and he has a brace. Was he mad that he didn't get the chance of the hat trick?
No, I don't think so. I think in that period in the game, Ciro's presence late on and his physicality, just with how we knew we would probably manage the game a little bit that late on, and know that they would throw a few more numbers forward and be obviously looking to get the ball forward a lot quicker. From that perspective, I think it was the right change, and he's going to understand that, and we explained it to him as well. Honestly, he came off with a huge smile on his face, knowing that he'd scored twice and he's made a massive contribution to us winning the game today. So we're pleased for Ike again. It's another good day for him, and obviously pleased with Ciro's effort and application at the end to hold the ball up and manage the game and buy some fouls and really help run out the clock, and really professional with his approach and how that helped us secure the victory today.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys.